This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Welcome to another episode of Speak Up Effective Communication, your place for focusing on elevating your communication skills here in the auto repair industry. I am your host, Craig O'Neill, and in our episode today, I want to have you ask yourself a question. Each time today that you receive a notification on one of your devices, I want you to ask, do I need this? Do I need to do something about this right now? Now, this has been a question that has come to mind for a while now as alerts inevitably pop onto my various screens on a daily basis. And I have been at, I feel like, a literal war with distractions in my life. Loyal listeners will have become familiar with some of my growing concerns on the topic, but I do feel that I have begun to find a little bit more balance, and slowly, as of late at least, I'm going to share what's been working for me. Now, I've been reading a book. I've mentioned it several times. The book that I've been in right now is a recommendation from Carm Capriotto of Remarkable Results Radio. The book is Stolen Focus by Johann Hari. The Stolen Focus subtitle is Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again. So in our episode, I do have some thoughts on the topic, very specifically of notifications, and some of this I've drawn inspiration from this book. My main hope in this is to get you thinking a little bit differently on notifications in your world, and maybe even be able to begin to identify some areas where you might be allowing your own devices to compromise your focus. Of course, we have a word of the day, and the word today is frenetic. Frenetic is the word of the day, and we'll define that for you after a word from our sponsors. Looking to take your shop to the next level of quality service, team culture, and overall profitability? At the Institute, we provide personalized coaching that aligns with your goals of financial stability, excellent customer service, and employee satisfaction. Our priority is helping you establish significant and sustainable progress. We work with you to create strategies that reduce the stress of running your business, improve your quality and performance, and optimize your profitability. Experience the benefits of professional coaching by visiting wearetheinstitute.com/business-assessment. Hey friends, as you know, I'm a proud member of the AutoFlow team, and let me tell you, we've changed how business is done for auto shops everywhere. We support your client experience before, during, and after the work is done. Imagine this: timely updates sent directly to your clients, branded digital vehicle inspections, and seamless communication from start to finish. That's why shops love AutoFlow. And hey, with those 5-star reviews rolling in, you'll wonder how you ever managed without us. Take an important next step and take your auto shop to the next level. Visit www.autoflow.com. Get on board with an AutoFlow trial. Are you ready to meet your perfect auto repair shop management software partner? Well, say farewell to the days of transactional relationships and hello to a true partnership that elevates your business. The number one all-in-one solution is AutoLeap. You're not just getting software, you're gaining a dedicated ally committed to your success. AutoLeap will help you sell more, save time, and delight your customers at every turn. From scheduling appointments to creating estimates, generating invoices, managing technicians, and seamlessly syncing with QuickBooks to keep your records updated. Experience the difference a true partnership makes. Visit Autoleap.com and book a demo today. Autoleap, your trusted partner for success. Want to see your auto repair shop thrive? Are you looking to drive more customers to your auto repair shop? Let ShopDog Marketing be your guide. Our customer-first approach, combined with AI-driven creative content, ensures top rankings. Dominate mobile first and voice search with our specialized expertise. Reach out to ShopDog Marketing today and start growing your business. Don't miss out on this chance to boost your business. Visit shopdogmarketing.com. Inbound has exclusively served independent auto repair shops with expert communication solutions for years. Our robust VoIP platform ensures you stay connected while our industry-leading AI analytics take your business to the next level. We provide the tools you need to understand your customers and optimize every interaction. Choose Inbound for proven expertise and unmatched innovation. Visit callinbound.com and discover the difference we can make. Okay, we're back, and our word of the day today is frenetic. It is an adjective, and it means fast and energetic in a rather wild and uncontrolled way. I love this word. The reason I wanted to use it today is because, well, you listen to this excerpt from the book Stolen Focus. In this excerpt, the author, Johann Hari, writes about a conversation that he's having with one of his friends who was getting, of course, notifications for things that he did not want. So I will quote, "All this frenetic digital interruption is pulling our attention away from our thoughts, and I think we're almost in this constant stimulus-driven, stimulus-bound environment, moving from one distraction to the next. If you don't remove yourself from that, it will suppress whatever train of thought you had." That is a quote from Stolen Focus, Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again by Johann Hari. And I loved this quote with that phrase, that simple phrase, all this frenetic digital interruption. Ooh, it's a good line. I think that was spot on. And for any of us that feel like we're in this constant stimulus-driven, stimulus-bound environment, oh my goodness, it's our world today. Shoot, I was in the waiting area at a local dealership getting some routine maintenance done on my wife's vehicle. And in that waiting area, there's a TV on. There's a speaker system playing sounds. And then, of course, I have the devices in my laptop, and I'm trying to do some work in this environment. It's like, man, I miss the quiet of my office. There's so many things going on. I actually needed another device to put on over my ears just so I could hear my own thoughts. And that's the world we're in so many ways. And when we invite it in from the device that's in our pocket, man, that creates quite a mess. So the consequences of distractions, I feel, are very real, not just for being task driven, but just in our creative thoughts and moments where we even have this healthy mind wandering. If you pick up this book, Stolen Focus, you're going to understand that there's multiple sides of our focus. It isn't just the spotlight focus, but it is that sometimes that baseline mode where our brains can just actually relax, and the tension relief that you'll feel on this and the lower anxiety, all the things that can go with this. Wow, we've really created a mess for ourselves. But Hari also mentions in the book that a distraction, a simple distraction, you think it's just going to take you a minute. He actually says, and I'll quote here, a distraction such as looking at an image from a friend pulls the average person away for up to 20 minutes. That's the average person. I'm an average person. Good chance I'm talking to a lot of you, you're average people too. 20 minutes is not 1 minute. That's a substantial amount of time. And then, wow, the day goes so fast and all these things. Wow. So if you look around and you see the distractions are everywhere, and you recognize that, okay, we as people now have this habitual tendency to scan for them, even in our own pockets or even on our own wrists, that's a problem. So take a second. Around you right now, maybe you're in traffic, maybe you're in your state of business, or maybe you're out on a walk and there's other people around in the parks or anywhere nearby. How many people do you see right now that are engaged or distracted by devices instead of just looking around and enjoying the environment around them, eyes up, looking outward? Good chance it doesn't take long for you to identify a lot of people heads down. Now, I don't want anyone to feel bad about this, judged or criticized or condemned, any of those things that we often try to avoid here as we are a communication podcast. But I do want you to just recognize for a second and give yourself some grace that this world that we've inhabited now with these devices, this has been engineered. As an individual, yes, we're going to talk. I think there's some disciplines that we can apply as individuals, but it is not purely up to you in the same way that dietary issues are a discipline in this world today. But yet and this is an example that Hari even makes in his book, like, hey, the food system has been engineered a certain way that it has some ramifications on people, and there's some rather addictive food. And hey, we have addictive technology too. The individual alone, the odds are against you. The odds are severely against you to be able to get this and rein it in by yourself. I'll say, like all modern humans, I too do struggle with distractions, but I do think I have some new tendencies that I've developed, some old tendencies as well, that are very simple, very reasonable disciplines regarding notifications. So I'm going to share this today. And I do feel sometimes a little bit old fashioned on this, but as I discussed recently in episode 35 with my friend Darren McClay, I do feel that I came of age with technology enough to appreciate a slower pace of information than what a lot of folks have found engineered around them now. Certainly the reality for my kids is very different than my reality when I was their age in those teenage years. But here we go. My thoughts for less distractions and being more present, be it with your own thoughts or for the people you are with. We're going to go through 10 things here. Number one, I feel this is the easiest thing to do. Silence your device. I don't care what tech ecosystem that you're coming from. I make a lot of jokes about Apple versus Android, and I'm a bit more of an Android fan, but I have an Apple right now, and I'll show you here on the camera here too. I'm demonstrating. There's that little switch on the side. There's a little red line on mine because that silence switch stays active all the time on my phone. It is extraordinarily rare and would be very, very like focused purpose that I would ever flip that off. I'd have to be expecting a call and my device can't be on me or something. I can't even think of a time where I have turned it off at any time lately. The point is, you have this superpower mechanism on pretty much any device you have to cut out those distractions. But I'm going to say this, it's not just for you in that context. It's for the people that you're around. If you're in a space where there's other people around and you have noisy distractions, whether it be a text message chime or a ringtone for a very specific friend, and the volume is cranked up, it can really disrupt things. And we've all seen this in church, in school, in classrooms, and conferences where that alert is a nasty distraction to those you're with. Mine, it's pretty simple. I do check it. Sometimes, when the speaker asks you to go and silence your devices, I still look at it just in the offset chance that I had this weird moment where I might have turned it off, even though it's probably been like this for a few years now. Silence the device, turn it off. It doesn't have to be with that switch. You can do this in a number of other ways too, but silence it. That's tip number one. Tip number two is don't keep your devices in your pocket when you're at home or at work. For me, when I was working as a technician, device was in the toolbox. And hey, no chimes, no noises on my device then because it didn't matter in a loud shop environment. I couldn't hear the thing half the time anyway. And I can really walk away from my phone and not feel too much anxiety. I like to make sure it's with me when I go places, but I can leave it in nearby proximity without feeling the need to be on me anymore. I just did this recently, this past weekend when I was at church, and just left the phone in the car. Yeah, there might be people that need to reach me. We've had cases of that, but I'm not going to look at it anyway. So when I am ready to go check messages, I'll go and do that. People know where I am. If there's a real emergency, good chance they know some of the other people I'm with. All the excuses that we would have to have the phone on us do kind of go away when you start to analyze things. The point is, I just don't like having it on me. I'll look at it is what I'll do in some of the cases. At home, especially, like I see this too, family time, even watching a movie. Kids will sometimes have the phone on them and they'll start looking at it while we're watching a movie. And now they're having their own isolated experience instead of the shared experience of the group. This is an easier way to accomplish it. Just don't have it on you if you don't need it. I think it's a great tip. Number three is to disable certain notifications from all non-essential applications, or just uninstall all non-essential applications. I usually fly pretty trim on applications on my device. I will keep things for very specific purposes. But if you look down my settings menu, it will be off on every single application except for email and text messages. Those are the only things that have notifications enabled on my device. That means no Facebook. That means if you've reached out to me on Facebook Messenger, good chance it was several days before I saw that message, which does bring me in to number 4. No social media notifications. This doesn't mean no social media, although that's another topic for another day. I am wrestling with the idea of deleting Facebook. It's probably going to happen, folks. I don't know when, but it's probably going to happen. But the point I want to make on this is that not allowing notifications from social media is probably, in my opinion, one of the most healthy ways you can still engage in social media, because when you aren't being pulled into it by something else with a push notification on your device, you're checking it at an interval that you want to do it in. And that's a lot better. It's also why some of you I am friends with on social media, you'll notice that it sometimes is many days between when you send me a message there and when I respond. There's also good likelihood that when I do respond, I tell you the better way to reach me. Number 5, silence that group chat thread. You know the one. Texting and group texting particularly really does function a lot like social media when you break it down and you look at it. I see this even with my own kids. We don't allow them on social media until they're over 18, really. But they still have a device and they do enjoy texting their friends. My daughter's in school especially. Oh my goodness. That's just what they do. Texting, group texting, I think that's one of those things you just leave that silence and you check it at intervals. And if it's an active part of the conversation, enjoy that. Sure. Okay. But you don't need that chiming in all the time. I have some pretty fun family members and friends. Let's say their group threads can be awful distracting at some of the wrong times. So just keeping them off is key. Even though my phone is silenced, some certain elements and certain people will allow the device to vibrate, and I'll hear that sometimes or feel it, of course. So it can still be a distraction. Now, number 6 is going to be probably my most judgy, debatable, and offensive tip that anyone has in here, but I'm going to make it anyway. I'm going to say this. Smartwatches, don't. Yeah, strong opinion. I know. And this isn't what I'm here for. It's about communication for me. This whole podcast is all about communication. I just haven't seen yet where smartwatches contribute to healthy communication. In fact, I see the opposite. And this is something you can work out as a discipline. This is a personal preference for me that I simply will not wear a smartwatch for having messages or notifications come to me, or even for health and fitness tracking for that matter either. It's my opinion, but think about the gesture that we make, or you've seen people make, I should say, on smartwatches when they get a message on their device. What does that message tell the people that they're with when they pull their arm up and look at their wrist? Now, from my entire time growing up, this has always meant I'm checking the time. And that's kind of a rude gesture to do while you're talking to someone. Poor etiquette when you're talking to someone to glance at your wristwatch. Somehow, has it become okay etiquette to check for a text message while you're talking with someone? Guys, it says one of 3 things when you're looking at your wrist and you're talking to another person. This is at least what I'm thinking. And have fun with this opinion as much as you want. But number 1, I think you're saying that you have no time for this conversation that you're having with a person nearby you. Number 2, you have something more important to do. And number 3, the interaction that you're currently having is causing a blood pressure spike. Now, that's usually what I see when I saw smartwatches initially. It was always like Fitbit things. Now they got sophisticated enough where you're getting emails and text messages. And if you're wearing an earbud, it'll read it to you at the same time. And you might not even be focused on anything else around you. Look, I get they have practical implications and purposes. And if you are using it for fitness, by all means, I've been tempted towards that as well. I do a lot of outdoor activities and I am curious about distance sometimes. I like to track that sort of thing. But be mindful, please, if you are someone who enjoys your smartwatch, keep using it. Doesn't mind. No one's going to care. But I think you do have to add some extra discipline when you're engaged in a conversation and either hear something or feel something. I'm not even sure what if they vibrate or what now for those wristwatches, but be mindful of the people that you're with. I think you could inadvertently make some wrong impressions. And I think that you need to show that presence when you're with people. Number 7, organize your emails. Folks, I work with shop owners all the time. In my line of work, we're dealing with shop owners. Shop owners, I'm just going to say we're pretty awful at managing email. I know I was. When I was in the shop, email was the worst way to reach me. It had to be phone call, text message, or voicemail. And those were the 3 mechanisms that I could use to actually stay in touch with people. Email was where things went to die. And that happens for a lot of folks. I've seen some pretty ugly numbers. In fact, if you have an ugly number on your inbox, don't be shy. Reach out to us here at the show, speakup@craigoneal.net. I'd be curious how many numbers are on that red badge on your email. I've heard some pretty ridiculous one. 23,000 I heard from one shop owner of email notifications sitting there, nothing happening. And even a few hundred is awful. In my opinion, all non-essential emails ought to be filtered out or unsubscribed from entirely. I've trimmed down my lists of things that I allow into my inbox substantially. It can be tempting for shopping and sales and all the things. That gets out of hand quick. Now it's noise, and now email is no longer a useful professional means of communicating with others. And it really does need to remain as the channel for that. In my opinion, email is a great method for receiving pertinent notifications that you can do something about right now. And it just needs to be kept clean in order to do so. Now, here's a controversial one. Internally, I've had this debate with many colleagues. Email away messages. Email away message. Are they okay or not? I say they are. In fact, the way you construct an email away message, I think, is what makes it okay or not. And I get both sides of this argument. The other side of the argument says that, well, if you believe that this message is important, an autoresponder is not actually communicating to someone that their message does matter. In fact, it's the opposite. You're saying that their message doesn't matter. Well, here's the reason why I think email away messages are okay. Sometimes the email from another person isn't the most important thing for me right now, and it would be a dishonest thing for me to say that it is. When I'm traveling on an airplane or at a conference, what I've begun to do is put in my away message a little bit of details about the event that I'm at, and that my response is going to be slower, and it's out of respect for the people that I'm meeting with. And I put that note in my away message. And what I love when I started doing that, I started getting responses to my away message that said, "Oh my gosh, I love that. That's brilliant. That's great." People were responding positively to my away message. My fear of using away messages, that people might have negative feelings. I know sometimes it's frustrating. I get it. But when you actually use it to say that, yeah, I'm trying to be more present with the people that I'm with, people respect and understand that. And you are going to get back to them. I have to do this for practical reasons too. A lot of times people reach out to me with questions with regards to the application, and I need to direct them to support. There may be a lot of different reasons that you need to use an away message as well, but it's the tone that you put into it. Don't just use a templated one. Actually communicate what you're doing and why it's important to you that you be focused there. I think that really tempers it and removes some of the stigma that away messages can have. So in my opinion, they're okay. And that really leads to number 9 for me, which is just to set expectations for your availability with the colleagues and loved ones that you are regularly interacting with. I usually will tell my colleagues, my friends, and family members, it is literally okay to reach out to me anytime. You might be thinking, wow, that's a ridiculous boundary there, Craig. You've now established this, that there are no boundaries for reaching out to you. And that's absolutely true. It is 100% absolute fact. You can reach out to me anytime you want. You know why? You know why it's okay? It's okay because I promise you I will not allow the message that you felt necessary to send to me to distract me from being present with my loved ones or other things like sleep, for that matter, because I have enough device discipline and I have my notifications managed sufficiently that I will see your message and engage it when it is appropriate to engage. So don't just hang on to the message and wonder and fear, am I going to bother him? Right? That's a terrible thing for someone to think. You have to communicate this with your friends and your family and your colleagues, your boss, and let them know, hey, is this okay? Is this not okay? I think all notifications are up to the user. It should never be a burden for someone to have that thought and reach out to you. And I think you need to do that with your businesses too. Let people know it's okay. It's absolutely okay. In fact, I want the message. I just might not see it as quick as when you send it. And you need to be okay with that. And I think as long as you understand those terms and we agree to the fact that not all things that you send are truly urgent or necessarily need an immediate response, then we're good. And that leads to the other thing on that same topic here. Setting expectations means that, hey, If there is an emergency, here's what you do. And on most phones, that's you dial the number twice or some other element like that. But most of the critical colleagues that I have for work, they're a favorite on my device. I actually have them specified as and in certain lists so that they can get messages through to me if it's super critical. But I also can tell you, I check at intervals. My intervals are fairly frequent, but they're pretty disciplined. And I will definitely see messages before too long. So the last tip that I want to say is number 10 here. It isn't just about not doing certain things and doing other things. It's about replacing an activity that might be distracting with something that's not going to leave you prone to distractions. For me, long walks, no earbuds, just walking. Or sometimes I'll have music, but it'll be music that's going to be pre-planned and not need to be searched through. The idea is whatever the problem you're facing, for me, if it's a war against notifications, I'm going to put myself into situations where notifications can't actually get me. And it isn't just the notifications. Sometimes it's the behavior behind it. If I have no notifications, I may still go sit down at a computer screen and habitually start scanning news websites. That was a habit for me. I would sit down, pop in the browser, couple 3 letters of whatever station it is that I want to go and look at the news for. And that happens so quick. And I sometimes catch myself. It's like, wait, am I actually interested in news, or is I just scanning for some other sort of distraction? Just turning one thing off on one device often will lead to just further distractions on something else. So really, it's about the activity that you actually want to fill with the space. In my opinion, nothing better than a good old classic paperback or hardcover book. Even better than the digital things, because wow, those devices that are connected to the internet, there's just so many opportunities for distraction there. The funny joke I heard, I had not heard this term, but a friend of mine who's occasionally will go and play games with their kids or video games and do very poorly sometimes, because there's a lot of people who only play video games. When you start losing real bad, the snotty remark they'll make in chat would be, that dude needs to go touch grass. I thought that's pretty funny, but that's the idea. Maybe that's the whole thing. You need to get out there and touch some grass. And I do believe nature is the cure, and mobility and motion through it. This will not be an episode about rucking. But hey, those are just some things that I've found. Device discipline, folks, it's definitely going to be up to you, because I don't see big tech companies being more incentivized to want to get your eyes off of their products. They need your eyes there. That's how they make their money. And when you are aware of that, you are going to be aware that it is going to be up to you for the foreseeable future. But hey, no, I really do hope this is helpful. I think this is an interesting topic. I'm going to be having a discussion with one of my good friends, Jeremy Glasgow. I'm looking forward to an upcoming episode with him. Hey, we're both in the technology world, and we understand that, eyes on the apps are something that we need. I'm in a software company, folks. We need people engaged in leveraging the technology, and it's all about reaching them on their digital devices. We want to do this with discipline. And I'm looking forward to that conversation with Jeremy. So we'll see about that. But hey, folks, this has been a fun episode for me, because this is a topic that I've been kind of passionate about. I'd really be interested to hear if you have a strategy or technique or something you would like to share with our audience. Please email me, speakup@craigoneil.net. O'Neill has 2 L's, CRAIGONEILL.net. Speakup@craigoneil.net. I appreciate hearing from you on anything, any comments, feedback, something that was helpful for you on this, or just perhaps you'd like to join me as a guest on the show. Speak up about a topic of something you're interested in yourself. And also, please remember to listen up to the other shows on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Remarkable Results Radio with Carm Capriotto. He does not just give great book recommendations, folks. He has wonderful guest and interview skills as well. He also did teach me a technique on writing notes in books. I have adopted this, and my goodness, Carm is just a wealth of wisdom. So do listen to his show. Diagnosing the Aftermarket A through Z with Matt Fonslow. He is something else too, man. You got to check out Matt's show. And then Business by the Numbers with Hunt Demarest. Hey, fun fact, we have Hunt scheduled for an episode coming up here as well. I can't wait to do that one with Hunt. Hunt's such a great guy, great ideas, and numbers do speak. They really do. All right. Auto Repair Marketing Podcast. Brian and Kim Walker. Man, as I'm recording this tonight, I found out Brian is in Michigan right now. He's about an hour and a half away, and I'm just so bummed I'm not going to have time to even try to catch up with him. But man, that'd be a good time. The Weekly Blitz, Coach Chris Cotton. Chris Cotton, great guy. Saw him recently at Vision as well. Check out his show. And once again, I do want to thank all of our sponsors who make this show possible. This has been so much fun getting to share some fun things about communication and really work on developing this out with our industry. And each one that has partnered with me on this they're just amazing people. Check them all out. They're just great. We wouldn't have asked them to sponsor the show if they weren't. And thank you, all of our listeners, for joining us here. Now, please go out there, be present wherever you are, listen up, speak up, and turn off your notifications. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.
You've been listening to Speak Up, Effective Communication with Craig O'Neill on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Follow Craig on your favorite podcast listening app and on his YouTube channel. Let him know what you'd like him to speak up about. Craig is all for advancing the automotive service aftermarket.